Jean-Claude Romand was a man from the small French village of Saint-Genis-Pouilly who, for 18 years, had been leading a double life, pretending to be a successful doctor and researcher. In reality, he had dropped out of medical school and had been living off of his family's savings and the money he received from pretending to be a doctor to his friends and family. But on January 8, 1993, his web of lies came crashing down when he killed his wife, children, and parents in their home in order to avoid being exposed as a fraud. The crime committed by Jean-Claude Romand was not only a shocking and tragic event, but also a demonstration of the extent to which one person can deceive those around them and the devastating consequences that can result. This investigation will delve into the background of Jean-Claude Romand, the details of his crime and the deception he committed, and the impact it had on those closest to him and society as a whole. For 18 years, Jean-Claude Romand led a double life, deceiving his friends and family into believing that he was a successful doctor and researcher. He would often speak of his supposed professional achievements and even went as far as creating fake documents to support his claims. He also pretended to have a daily routine, spending his days at a research institute in Lyon, when in fact he was spending his days alone, driving around or staying in his home. The extent of Jean-Claude's deception was extensive, as he even convinced his parents to invest a large sum of money into his supposed research projects. He was able to maintain this charade for 18 years, even though he had dropped out of medical school early on and had no real job or income. His friends and family were completely unaware of the truth, and many were left in shock and disbelief upon learning of his deception after the murders. Jean-Claude's double life was not only a demonstration of his ability to manipulate and deceive those around him, but also a commentary on the societal pressure to present a successful image and the lengths that some will go to maintain that image. On January 8, 1993, Jean-Claude Romand committed a series of brutal murders, killing his wife, children and parents in their home. He first killed his wife, before murdering his two children, aged 5 and 8, and his parents. He then set fire to his home in an attempt to destroy any evidence of the crime. The investigation that followed revealed the true extent of Jean-Claude's deception and the motives behind the murders. Faced with the possibility of his lies being exposed, Jean-Claude chose to take the lives of his loved ones rather than face the consequences of his actions. The trial that followed was widely covered by the media, and Jean-Claude was ultimately found guilty of the murders and sentenced to life in prison. The trial also brought attention to the crime of murderous deception and the impact that such deception can have on those closest to the perpetrator. The murders committed by Jean-Claude Romand were a tragic and shocking event that had a profound impact on the victims' families and the community. It also served as a reminder of the destructive power of deception and the devastating consequences that can result. In the aftermath of the murders committed by Jean-Claude Romand, many attempted to understand his actions and motivations. Some psychological analysis have been made on his behavior, and one of the main theories is that Jean-Claude had a deep-seated fear of failure and rejection, leading him to create a false image of success in order to avoid confrontation and maintain the acceptance of those around him. Another theory is that he suffered from a personality disorder, characterized by a lack of empathy and a tendency to manipulate and deceive others for personal gain. The concept of murderous deception refers to the act of killing in order to avoid the consequences of being exposed as a fraud or liar. It highlights the destructive power of deception and the lengths that some individuals will go to maintain their image and avoid facing the truth. It's important to note that the psychological analysis is speculative, and it should be always done by a professional in the field and with access to the person's entire medical history, interview and examination. The story of Jean-Claude Romand is a tragic and shocking tale of deception, murder, and the destructive power of fear and societal pressure. For 18 years, Jean-Claude led a double life, deceiving his friends and family into believing that he was a successful doctor and researcher. When faced with the possibility of his lies being exposed, he committed a series of brutal murders, taking the lives of his wife, children, and parents. The investigation and trial that followed brought attention to the crime of murderous deception and the impact that such deception can have on those closest to the perpetrator. It also served as a reminder of the destructive power of deception and the devastating consequences that can result. The psychological analysis speculates about Jean-Claude's actions and motivations, and it's important to note that it should be always done by a professional in the field and with access to the person's entire medical history, interview and examination. The impact of Jean-Claude's actions on those closest to him, his family and friends, is immeasurable. They lost loved ones in a brutal way and they had to live with the shock and betrayal of his deception. It also serves as a reminder that the pressure to present a certain image to the world can have severe and dangerous consequences, and the importance of being true to oneself and facing one's problems head-on.